everyone, I am back again and I have successfully farmed my Mageblood and a little bit of spare cash along the way, and I've been doing sanctums for the past 4 days or so. So yeah, I just want to make this video to make a quick tips and tricks guide, I guess, or maybe just some stuff that people are asking for in the stream. So, okay, first of all, let's talk about relics. So, sanctified relics no longer exist in the game, but you still can get relics, which you can place into this relic altar before you start a run. So, regarding relics, there are certain play styles that you can go for. So at the start, you'll probably only have some of these relics, which says like they drop additional coins, or you gain resolve when you kill a boss. Those are alright at starting out, but as your build gets stronger and you get faster, you probably want to swap off and get some better relics, either just by dropping them yourself or by buying them on the trade site, which is, you can actually buy and sell relics now. And I don't think you could do that back in Sanctum. Alright, so the first thing that I want to discuss is these. So you can get additional rooms are revealed on the Sanctum map. This comes in a singular room, or you can get relics that review 2 additional rooms. In my opinion, this is probably one of the best relics you can run. Apart from this, there's also merchant has additional choice, but I don't really need any boons in order to complete my run, so I feel that these rooms reviewed are the best because they can show you divines on the third and fourth floor, but also show like certain afflictions that you don't want to take, like deceptive mirror and all those, if you happen to review those rooms. Right, so you can have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Technically 9 slots times 2, so you can have 18 additional rooms reviewed, which is essentially playing with all-seeing eye at this point um, on the Sanctum map. So I have some of these. I dropped most of these myself because I have been stuck in here for a really long time. Yes, I feel that this is one of the best. Okay, regarding the others, the second one that I feel is pretty strong will be quantity of relics dropped by monsters. So instead of targeting raw divines, like showing up in the sanctum map on the third and fourth floor, you can choose to drop more relics and try to open these rooms, because these additional room relics are actually quite a lot of money. These singular rooms are worth at least 1 divine, and if you have 2 rooms, it goes between 10 to 20 divines. Now the prices are kind of crazy, so as of now, it's about 14 to 20 divines for 2 additional rooms, and having more quantity of relics dropped will definitely increase the chance. Something else to take note of is that quantity of relics dropped affects Lycia's unique boss drops. Lycia can drop unique relics, which I will go through later, and you can actually drop 2 of these when you have the increased quantity of relics dropped. So you could potentially get 2 original sin relics or 2 sandstorm visage relics, right? So that is really not too bad. In general, these relics are decent. They're pretty good too. So you have resolve when you kill a boss. So the difference is you gain maximum resolve when you kill a boss and not just gain resolve. This is the key thing because it actually increases your max resolve. Yeah, so you can have a similar mod when you use gain maximum resolve when you use a fountain as well. There is also one more affliction. Let me check here. There's also these, so you can gain inspiration when you receive an affliction. These are not bad. Yes, these are just general use relics. Alright, so that's all for the general relics. Alright, let's now go into type of builds that are good for Sanctum. I would say totems and mines are still really good for Sanctum. Spark may not be the best anymore. For me, in Sanctum League, Spark was just really nice for that freeze and all that. But now I am not sure if it has enough damage in order to one-shot Uberlycia, because the arena is bigger. Yeah, but if you have a strong Spark build, then please go ahead. So personally for me, I believe that mines and totems are the strongest builds for Sanctum right now, because they just have ridiculous damage, right? Like if you're playing a Hex Blast miner, or for me a Cold Exsanguinate miner, you're able to preload all the damage, one-shot all the bosses, and it's quite a safe playstyle when you're trying to kill Uberlycia, right? You don't have to do her red lightning wave phase, and that gives you a lot of safety, when you have divines on the line. So for totems, Freezing Pulse, Ice Spear totems are also really strong. My friend is currently playing that, and he's clearing Sanctums fine. Alright, so in general, you want a build that has high damage, high speed, but not 0 HP, not completely Z HP. Okay, my build has at least 3000 life usually, and determination to tank some of the small hits. Although the guards and mobs inside don't really hit your HP bar much, there are rares that spawn. So if you have lesser damage and you're not one-shotting and freezing everything instantly, like you may get hit by, these rares, and dying in sanctum is not very fun, right? Especially if you lose divines from that. So yes, you need to have some sort of, life pool and defenses to survive getting hit, but everything else can go into damage and speed because that's the name of the game. You clear more sanctums, you get more divines per hour, you kill faster, you complete sanctums faster. Moving on, now let's start talking about how you should clear your floors and what you should be looking out for. On floor 1 and 2, what I would suggest looking out for are the handshake rooms. So in these rooms, you may or may not get an option in order to get major boons for 50% of your resolve. I would definitely take these if I can on the first floor because you have a chance to get all-seeing eye, which allows you to see, the entire map, and therefore letting you get more divines if there's any of them. There's other, what you call it, major boons that are really good would be Imperial Seal, which has no traps on the map. There's one that makes you immune to all minor afflictions. There's another one that makes you ignore the first resolve hit of each room. In general, most of the major boons are pretty good. The bad ones are like double coins and things like that. But it could still be useful. You can buy more stuff from the merchant and things like that. Moving on to the third and fourth floor, these are when divines can start to appear. I'm not sure if floor 4 has higher chance of divines than 3, but it definitely feels so. But I have definitely gotten like 2 divine rewards, singular divine rewards from floor 3 as well. But in general, the 2 divine rewards will usually be on floor 4. Another thing to look out for is, once again, they can be hidden behind the handshake rooms. So I also will path towards those rooms if I can, if I don't see any divines on the map, because sometimes they are just hidden behind the handshakes. In floors 3 and 4, you will come across rooms with traps, and they will ask you to find the exit. So there are certain shortcuts that you can take, which I will now be showing here in the clips. These, they will help you cut down some time in your maps, maybe a few minutes, but when you compare that, when you add it up, when you're doing 20, 30 sanctums, the time definitely adds up. So here's just some shortcuts for you to look at. Okay, moving on to unique relics. There are only certain relics that I use quite often, but I'll just go through all of them and we shall discuss it. You can get relics that turn coins into tainted currency, experience, or relics. I don't really use these much. Next, we have these. So the Night Lamp and the Broken Censer. These help you to sustain Forbidden Tomes if you ever need to. I generally don't use these and I just buy tomes. But you could use these if you want, because when they drop a tome at the end, you are essentially self-sustaining sanctums on your own. Okay, moving on to the more interesting ones. So first off, we have the Hour of Divinity. Um, I think I will talk about these nearer to the end. Let's just go through these first. We have the Power and Promise, which drops Eternal Damnation. I don't think this is worth to run. The return's not that great. Next, we have Blood of Innocence. You could get good balance of terrors, so that's an option, but I don't really run it either. We have this, which is for the Winds of Fate. I don't run this either. But here we have the Chains of Castigation, which is probably the best thing that you could run in terms of, boss drops. So the Herald of Scourge drops Sandstorm Visage. You have to take note of the prices when you buy these or when whether you want to run these. Sandstorm Visage, as of now, it's about 5 divines, and the Chains of Castigation is about 2 divines. So every time I complete a sanctum with this relic inside, I essentially get 3 divines on top of every other reward that I get naturally. The only thing is that rooms are unknown on the sanctum map. This means that you have no rewards. You can't see the affliction type. You can't see the room type. You can still see if the room has an affliction. So in general, I can showcase one here. Let's remove. Let's remove one of these. Okay, if we were to run a map, you will see that you can't see anything essentially. You can tell that rooms are, afflictions, but in general, you just want to path the safest path that you can get without taking any afflictions and pray that you don't get any, run any afflictions. So it really quite dependent on your build. Alright, next, the only other thing that I want to really talk about are the duplicate relics. So this was disabled at the start of the league, but they enabled it, I think, 2 days ago. So this says duplicates up to 2 random offer rewards upon defeating the Herald of Scourge. You cannot duplicate the same reward twice, which means if you only take a divine reward, for example, 1 divine reward, it will only duplicate once to 4. You cannot duplicate it twice to become 6. But if you get 2 divine rewards, you can duplicate both of them each to get 8 divines. If you get 2 divines, 2 divines, you multiply 2 each, you get 8 divines. So this is a very specific type of run that you would do. So how you would do this is for the first 3 floors, you are free to take instant rewards for like the first reward or end of the floor rewards. But you cannot take rewards that rewards that are given to you at the end of the run. Because you only want divines at the end of the run, because that's when you kill Lycia. Uh, yes, so once again, you can take anything from first 3 floors, but nothing that gives you rewards at the end of the run. So you are just praying that you get divines on the last floor and then it duplicates. I am not sure how worth it this is to run because you do lose out on, all the other rewards like chaos, sextants and all those. But if divines go up in price and, this relic is still relatively affordable, I have dropped 8 divines from this before, it's not too bad to run. Next, we have the Gilded Chalice. This is the similar thing. It duplicates up to 4 random offer rewards. However, in this case, the only rewards that I would think that I want to duplicate would be, for example, Sextants and Divines, which this can already accomplish. So I usually don't run this because it's, it looks... I don't really need the other 2 rewards. At most, you duplicate 14 Chaos into another 14 Chaos. It's not really that great. Alright. For the last part, I think the only thing I have left to cover is probably the good boons and bad afflictions. So in my opinion, the best boons you could have are Ornate Dagger, which gives you more damage. We have Sanguine Vial, if I'm not wrong, which gives them less health. Hair's Foot, which gives you movement speed. And Vicious Icall, which reduces their action speed. So these should be the boons that you are looking out for. And sometimes I would take exchanging resolve for one of these, especially the damage ones and the less health ones. In terms of afflictions, there's a lot of afflictions that are really bad. The things that come to my head are, of course, first one is Fiendish Wings, which increases their everything. They just attack faster, hit you faster. It is a terrible one in general. We have Liquid Cowardice. If you are not using Mageblood yet, you have to make sure you take off your flask, otherwise you just see yourself taking a whole bunch of damage and maybe you will know why. Other things would be, if I'm not wrong, is Curse Prism or something along those lines, which makes you get another affliction when you get an affliction. We have Poison Water, which makes you gain affliction when you use a fountain. We have Traps are faster. What else do we have? in general, there are quite a lot of afflictions that are bad. The things that don't matter are like resolve, mitigation, binding chains on hit, things like that. I think ultimately it is still up to your own build to see what you can handle. For example, liquid cowardice doesn't affect me anymore because the only time I have to use bottled faith is against the bosses. So yeah, I think I have covered everything that I wanted to cover. If there's anything I want to add, I will probably add it in the comments. And if you have any questions, just feel free to come by the stream or just leave a comment down below and I will answer it as fast as I can. Okay, with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. I think this video definitely took a lot more effort to make, uh, with some new editing stuff. And yeah, thank you for watching Web Puddle. I will see you next time.